I'll never forget my first love. We met at my first job when I was about 18 years old. Some memories never leave us. I remember one afternoon, a mutual friend drove us both home from work. She sat in the front passenger seat and I sat behind her. I wanted so badly to tell her how I felt, but I didn't. My heart raced. The whole drive I kept asking myself, what should I say? Then, without needing to say a single word, she turned with her back against her door as if to talk to the driver. And slowly, she reached her hand around the back of her seat and gently took my hand. No words were spoken. Time stood still. Sometimes the most meaningful conversations contain no words at all. However, in life, somewhere along the way, silence changes. The pauses that once felt beautiful begin to feel uncomfortable. Those awkward moments when conversations suddenly stop. No one says anything. The silence grows, and almost instantly, a familiar voice begins speaking in our minds. Did I say something wrong? Do they think something's wrong with me? The silence lasts only a few seconds, yet it can feel like an eternity. External silence becomes an internal voice. For some, silence means peace, like a loving hand reaching out to hold ours. For others, silence becomes loneliness, rejection, failure. Over time, internal recordings begin playing, and we don't question if they're true. For most of my life, I believed these recordings. But what if these internal voices aren't telling us the whole truth? When I was young, I noticed every tape recorder had two buttons, stop and pause. I never understood why, but now I think I do. Stop ends the recording. Pause simply waits, even just for a moment. Maybe that's what mercy does. It gives us a moment before the now familiar recordings begin playing. And one day, as these internal voices were playing, I tried something different. While I could no longer stop them, what if I could pause it? I hope if I could just do it for a moment, long enough to wonder, what if these internal recordings aren't telling me the whole truth? In Jewish thought, words matter, but sometimes greater meaning is found in the spaces between the words. I've begun to wonder if mercy lives there too, not in the event and not in the internal judgment, but in a small space between them. One of the most beautiful sayings in Jewish tradition later became part of a song sung in the temple. Mercy and truth have met. Righteousness and peace have kissed. Maybe that's why we struggle so much with silence, not because silence is empty, but because we've forgotten that we can choose what fills it. Maybe mercy is simply waiting before believing the internal voice we hear. To remember a time before those voices became so loud. I think that's why I'll never forget my first love. She reminds me what silence felt like before it became a voice. Before fear, there was peace. Before judgment, there was wholeness. Maybe we've spent our lives chasing the people or the experiences that first made us feel whole, when what we were really trying to return to was wholeness itself, because mercy resides in the pause.